Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Zach Team podcast. This is Olga Zakinova's first podcast. Olga is our real estate associate real estate broker at Douglas Elliman, and this is her debut, her first podcast. Very, very excited to be here with Olga and Mr. James Chan, the senior loan officer at Citizens Bank. And today we are going to discuss the interest rates, the rising interest rates, and how it is affecting the housing market, how it is affecting everything else related to real estate. So, Olga, take it away.
Well, thank you, James, for joining me today. I think we planned for this event for a couple of years, and we finally found the way to make it happen. So we couldn't find a better time, I guess, to record this podcast. And Leah, thank you very much for taking the lead and really contributing everything you possibly could to make this happen. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Very excited to be here. Thank you, Olga.
Thank you, guys. So the most important challenge that we personally facing as real estate brokers, I feel that with Feds increasing the rates and so much uncertainty going on the media, I personally feel that we should be the leading voice.
Yes.
We should be the leading voice that walks and talks the local streets, and we know exactly what's happening on the market. I personally believe that every single buyer and every single seller goes through their personal times where they cannot watch the news and time their life based on those news.
Right.
I personally believe that, James, every single day that the market is changing and every single day that I'm reaching out to you and asking you, hey, James, what's the rate like today? You're giving me an answer that I'm not very excited to hear today. But I would like to hear from you directly, and I would like to educate our audience because this is the meaning behind this podcast. The meaning behind this podcast is to educate public, to educate our audience, and to have them understand that there is a way to really continue with our life no matter what happens with the world.
Right.
As long as we are blessed, as long as we have peace on earth, I personally believe that we will continue to move around. We will continue to have a life that goes on. We will continue to have marriages and childbirth
divorces.
and divorces.
Divorces.
Okay?
70%.
Exactly.
people are
And I
divorced,
think
yeah.
during COVID,
when it comes to divorce, you need to
exactly.
probably
I
have
think
to sell
during
houses, right? Buy houses.
exactly. I think during COVID, a lot of people went through this personal changes
Yes.
in their life. And James, I would like to hear from you. What is your best advice to our listeners?
Very good question, Olga. I get asked these questions, especially in the last 6 months. Oh, what's the interest rate? What is it today? Do you think it's going to go up? One thing, when I was talking on the phone with you, when I was with the customers, I always tell them that, hey, yes, the rate's higher compared to last year. But if you look at historic, it's still low. Right?
Correct.
Yes.
Honestly, we've been spoiled the last 2 years.
Correct.
It's not normal. We're in COVID, right? So, and it happened for a reason. It's since kind of get back to normal, and these rates are what it was a few years ago. Obviously, it's a shocker to everyone because you are at such a low rate environment. Now it's higher. But I always tell the customer, I can give you 1%, but if you're not comfortable with the monthly payment, or if you don't qualify, it doesn't mean anything, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
So I always direct the customer, let's talk about your monthly budget.
Correct.
Let's look about what you're comfortable with. And then we'll figure out a solution based on that monthly payment. And then we'll look at the homes that you qualify for, and then we'll adjust from there. So the rate's going to be the rate, right? We have no control. So rather than focusing on the rate, let's look at the monthly payment. And not to mention, and also, it could be 7% today, but that doesn't mean that 3, 4, 5 years down the road it's going to be 7%. It's going to be lower. So you get you buy the house, you get today's rate, but we can always refinance you
Right.
a few years down the road, and
It's
the
true.
monthly payment will be, be lower. There's a new saying right now: you date the rate, but you marry the house.
Correct.
And that's it. I mean, it's not easy to find a house that you like,
That's true.
Absolutely.
So if you found something you like and you're comfortable with the payment, and there's a lot of programs that's out there for first-time home buyer. There's programs for construction homes. There's program for interest only. We can discuss all of those, and then we found an option that helps you and makes you comfortable with the payment, and that's the most important thing.
Yes, absolutely. I personally also believe that there is a lot of opportunities right now out there.
Yeah.
A lot of my listings right now that we're putting on the market, Sometimes we begin them pricing it at the price where it flies off the shelf, but sometimes the sellers have to drop the price to kind of adjust it closer to where the market heartbeat is going to react with multiple offers. And this is what I'm observing right now. A lot of opportunities. My personal belief is that when I have to drive somewhere, I don't look at the time and say, you know what, let me hit the road at the peak time where I have million people on the roads driving and creating traffic jam, right? You want to wait off.
Right.
You want to wait off until you have the opportunity of having clear road. And this is what my belief is right now, that right now the market is performing in a way that people have chance and opportunity to really have a clear road. There is not too much competition going on. There is no lines outside of properties. There is a very fair opportunity right now to present your best offers. Really make sure that you qualify. And this is why we have James always on site, because we want to make sure that each and every buyer will have the opportunity to really being able to afford to what they're buying.
Right.
One of the best practices that I could say that never happened in my life, that I have one single client that would call me and say, Olga, I cannot afford my house. I am in trouble. I'm upside down. Never happened before. Why? Because each and every buyer, each and every client, when they come into the open house or they come into anything that we do, they actually get in a position where they get through qualifications and they really get comfortable with their payments. Because in the end of the day, I always tell my clients, please understand that your financial growth, almost 90% out of 100, will not be where you are today. Every single one that we're dealing with continues to grow.
Right.
Each and every person continues to get better jobs.
Right.
And
That's
each and
true.
every person continues to generate more income. So you
That's the
will
goal
be
in life.
fixed.
Right.
Yes.
You will be fixed in your payments. You will be able to grow your equity. And my personal belief, especially what's happening right now, yes, the rates are high. And my personal belief that not too many people will be in their homes for the next 30 years.
Right.
This is not the trend where I would say that people will be married to their home for 30 years. I just don't see that happening.
COVID is a perfect example where
Exactly.
people moved out of urban areas and
Correct.
into the suburban, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You saw a
Yeah.
great
Right.
rise in
But
that.
but the point I'm trying to make is that people will not stay in their homes for that long.
right.
People will continue to move around.
Mm-hmm.
People will continue to look for other great opportunities. A lot of my clients actually buy multiple houses right now.
Wow.
It's because there's a lot of opportunities out there.
Yeah.
And as they always say, that when the market gets in a position where it becomes a little bit more uncertain, it's those that have the clear understanding to take a risk and
Right.
really take advantage of sellers' open-mindedness
Right.
of being more flexible.
Right. Are the
Wow.
prices gonna go down because the interest rates are going up? Are they gonna like?
I'm not witnessing prices to go down
No?
tremendously,
Oh, wow.
but I do see that we are limited on inventory.
Oh, okay.
Okay? It's not like we are flooded with inventory. Inventory is super limited, and we are in a position right now where I personally believe, and this is my professional opinion, that in the next couple of months, once the Feds feel that the economy is doing much better, I feel like the minute the rates start to climb down,
The rate's gonna go back up. I mean, the price.
the
might
prices
go
will
back
start
up.
jumping up
Oh.
again.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like during September 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember everybody stopped buying. They started moving out of New York, but New York is still New York.
New York is
And
New
it's
York.
still the capital.
Look at COVID, right?
COVID,
when COVID first
right.
started, people was like,
Correct.
"Oh, we got to be out. The New York State market is on a tank." blah, blah.
Yes. It's not gonna
It
tank.
did.
It's
It
not.
actually went up higher, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there you go.
I mean, I have to say, New York is a very mature market.
Yes.
It's not like any other, any other cities, and people want to stay in New York.
Exactly.
It's for a reason.
Right.
It's just stability. It's the culture. It's
Diversity.
everything, the diversity. here.
Diversity,
Yeah.
yes.
So, and with lack of inventory, you really don't see the price going down.
I'm actually a little bit worried. As a listing agent, I do a lot of properties for my clients. We sell a lot of listings. I am a little bit worried with the fact that we are not flooded with inventory.
Oh wow.
Even with the fact that the rates are going up, you would think that sellers would be panicking right now and saying, "Hey, let me sell right now and wait," and really not wait. And we're not in that position.
I think one of the reasons is the last 2 years, a lot of people already sold their homes already. right?
Exactly.
And these new homeowners, they just move in. There's no reason.
There
for
is
them
a
to-
lot of-
yeah. So.
There is a lot of movement going on. There is still a lot of confidence in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And my professional opinion that in the next couple of months, once the rates start to become more comfortable for people to
Yeah.
invest with, I would say that everything we have right now is going to sell out,
Yeah.
and then we're going to have to start from scratch. But keep in mind, sellers right now a little bit more realistic. They see the market and they are a little bit more open-minded and flexible.
Yeah.
Once the rates jump to the
Yeah.
point where it becomes more affordable, that flexibility of owners being flexible will be gone.
Right.
So I
So-
personally feel that right now we can't follow the comps based on 3 months or 6 months. We're not following the comps that way, okay? But I feel like the minute it starts to go down, I believe that the rates will just definitely impact the market to jump up.
I have a question for both
Sure.
of you. So, as a home buyer, let's say I'm a home buyer this year, right, versus last year.
Mhm.
What is the difference for me, and what products do you have as a banker to accommodate me as a person who wants to buy a home? So, last year the rates were lower.
Right.
So, what is it? What
So,
is it
so
looking
I'm
for?
going to go first then. So, one of the major difference that's noticeable is interest rate, right?
Right.
What last year and this year's compare. So, just to give you a perfect example, on a
Right.
$100,000 mortgage, at an interest rate of 4%, the monthly payment is $477.
Okay.
If that interest rate goes to 6%, it's $599.
Oh,
The difference is $120.
Right.
If it goes to 7%, which it has been this year,
Mm-hmm.
that's $665, right? So the jump is significant.
It
If
is.
you borrow $1 million, that's $1,200
Right.
a year. I mean, per month, a month difference. So that's why I always go back to what I said at the beginning. You have to look at the payment, right?
Right.
And there's various different program that's available now. If you're a first-time home buyer, we have the conventional 3% down, FHA 3.5% down. In New York State, we also have the Sony Mae program,
Mm-hmm.
and Citizen Bank has our own special first-time home buyer program as well. So we'll look at that to see if you qualify for it.
Right.
In addition to that, in addition to the regular, in addition to that, there's various programs like the 30-year fix,
Right.
the 15-year fix, and as what Olga said earlier, not everyone's going to stay at the home for
Exactly.
30 years anymore, right? That's
Yeah.
that's historic, that's the past.
The trend.
Yeah, in the past. But
Yeah.
right now, most people, on average, I was reading this, I think on Bloomberg or something. I think average household they own the house for 7 to 10 years now, and they move to something bigger or they downsize.
Right.
So with that said, there are also adjustable rate programs. You have the 10-year adjustables. You have the 7, the 5, and what that means is the interest rate will be fixed for the first 5 years, 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
or the 10 years, and then just after that. Now, with current environment and with the current trend, if you're not going to stay at the house for more than 10 years, why go for a 30-year fixed
Exactly.
mortgage?
That's
right?
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there's different, and these type of loans has lower interest rate. And because of the lower interest rate, guess what? The monthly payment is lower. It makes you more comfortable,
Right.
makes you more qualified, and you go for that property house that you're interested.
Thank you. That was a very thorough explanation. Explained a lot of things. Cleared up a lot of things between the two of you. I'm learning a lot today.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all for joining us for this incredible podcast. We will see you next time with Olga and James. We will continue this conversation to educate all of you on real estate, interest rates, and everything else. Have a great day.